to another drive with me. We are on episode 33. So I did a full count of how many drive with me's we have on this channel. And this is episode 33. This has become a regular thing. I'm sorry I didn't do an eat with you guys last night. Had a situation happen and just couldn't do it. It's not something that I want to talk about on the internet right now anyways. That time may come. Oh, it's my giveaway. Okay, it's popping up for me. Cool. Alright. Anyways, I'm not really ready to talk about on the internet yet about that, but maybe eventually. But there is a whole story time genre that I have not introduced to this channel yet. A whole portion of my life that is very important, and I've been nervous to talk about it because only like a few select people know that I even did this for like 3 years. But it's all of the stories from when I was a stripper. Now, in East Tennessee, well, everywhere. If you are a thicker, heavier set stripper, a lot of times it's a fetish. So a lot of times the people who come in to see you are fetishizing you. And I have some fucking stories from that time. And I debated back and forth whether I wanted to introduce this series to my channel or not, or this whole time period of my life to my channel or not, because none of my family knows about this. It was when I was on drugs, and someone that I was running around with at the time, she was working there, and I used to go and hang out there all the time, and I started out bartending, and then there were so many customers who were like, come on, do it. There were so many customers asking me to that eventually I was like, fuck it. If I can make hella more money stripping, fuck it. I mean, I'm fine with my body. I love my body, so whatever. And there was something so empowering about doing that, and I don't regret it. I will say that. I don't regret stripping. I had so much fun. It was but there was some really shitty times. There really was. I would never do it again, obviously. It's just not the lifestyle that I'm in. And the clubs that are where I live are trashy. I'm just going to keep it 100. They're very much hole-in-the-wall strip clubs. And if you want to go to like a high-class club, strip club around, you're going to drive to Nashville, somewhere like that. So I just wanted to kind of give this preface before I start telling you guys stories from the strip club. And there's one girl in particular that I'm still very good friends with to this day. She ended up saving my life, which I'll tell you guys that story. She ended up having Narcan one time, and she literally saved my life. So I'm going to tell that story, and I'm going to try to have her on. She lives in Chattanooga now, but I was thinking maybe we could do like a FaceTime or something. We'll figure it out somehow to get her in the video, or maybe have her film and send me a clip or something. But yeah, I was a plus size stripper for almost 3 years, on and off. But it was the most convenient job for me at the time because I was so heavily addicted to drugs that I could make money very, 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 very quickly. And so when I needed money, if I was not feeling good, if I was dope sick, I could go to the club, strip, make some money. So I figured today, while I'm on my way to work, I am running extremely late for work today. I literally need to be there in like 25 minutes. I figured I would tell you guys like the introduction, how I got introduced to the strip club, and yeah, that story. So I've talked about this girl many times on my channel. I always introduce her a different way to protect her identity, simply because we are not cool anymore. If there's anyone in my life that I would consider, I don't hate anyone, but if there's anyone that I dislike a lot, she's in my top 5. And everyone that's on that list have endangered my life in some way. Either they stalked me, or they risked my life, they tried to end my life. Like, that's that list for me. It's not petty shit. She's on that list for me, and I haven't told the story about that yet, but I'm going to, because it's my story. Anyways, I was running with this same girl. We'll call her Daisy. And she was working at a strip club in my hometown. Now, this particular strip club that she worked at was the trashiest strip club in Knoxville. So if you live in Knoxville, you're going to know exactly what strip club I'm talking about. It was a hole in the wall. It was so fucking tiny, and it was just fucking gross. Anyways, she was working at this strip club, and she kept begging me to work. And I would go down there and, pick her up. I'd sit and wait on her at night when the club was closed, and, whatever. I knew everybody. I knew security, I knew the bartender that was there at that time, I knew the owner, I knew customers, the whole gist. And shortly thereafter, the owner was like, "You're working for my club. Like, you're here every single night. Customers love you. Like, come on now." So I agreed to bartend. Now, I made a lot of money bartending. Nothing like I would make once I started stripping. Again, I was fetishized a lot because I was a bigger girl. At this particular club, in comparison to my size, there was only one other girl there that I would compare to my weight. There were obviously other thicker girls there, but they were not plus size. They were not big girls like myself. So when I first started bartending, I immediately had customers like begging me to strip. And I told myself, if I'm going to strip, I'm not going to do it at this club. I just didn't want to touch the pole, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, there were just some nasty ass bitches, and I'm not meaning that, well, I mean, it's just what it is. Shady or not, it is what it is. They were nasty ass bitches, and I just did not want to touch that pole. So I ended up, one of my regular customers who literally only came there to come to the bar, he would always like, what is on my chin? Is that fucking lash glue? I think it is. Anyways, he would come to the club, beg me to get a room with, like, we had rooms there, begged me to go in a room with him. I never would, whatever, but he would come there specifically just to sit at the bar and talk to me. Anyways, he ended up telling me, I knew of this other club. Obviously, I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. There's only so many. He kept telling me about this one in particular club, and he was like, you would do so good there. They do not have any plus size girls. You would do so fucking good there. And that's what I needed. I needed a club that I was one of one. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just something cool. You're going to make the most money if you're the only one there, that particular, because if anyone is looking for that specific type of girl, you're there. You feel me? So, and out of the clubs in Knoxville, this is the nicer one. So, after I had him and several other customers start begging me to strip, I finally pulled the plug and was like, fuck it, let's do it. So, the owner of that club, the nicer club, was actually one of my regulars. He was very good friends with the owner of that shit club, and he would come all the time. been begging me to come to his club. He was like, you will make hella money. There's no other girls there that are plus size. Like, you will make so much money. Come on. Like, you're being stupid bartending. You can make so much more money. And on average, bartending, I would make anywhere between, I think my like slowest worst night was like $50. And one time I brought home $1,000 bartending. So it wasn't like I was rolling in the money bartending at all whatsoever. So my first night, okay, he did not make me audition. And I told him, I was like, I am not going to be climbing up no poles. Like, that's not going to happen. I just know me, and it's not. But I danced in high school. I can dance. Like, I can give a lap dance. I can do this, whatever. So my first night, I go in, and 3 of my regular customers that would come when I bartended at that shitty club were there. And it was almost like, it was crazy. It was almost like they were waiting in line to see me naked. It was the most surreal, crazy shit. But the very first night, I knew, okay, so the people who are here that are into my body type, this is like a fetish for them. Like, they want to see me do some weird shit. Like, I knew that off the rip. So that one customer who would literally just come to the strip club at the first one and sit at the bar all night just with me, he was the very first guy that I ever gave a lap dance to. And you guys, this man, we'll call him Ernie because it fits him. That name just fits him. He was into some weird fucking shit. Let's just put it that way. And honestly, it wasn't even sexual shit at all. Like, we went into the room and he wanted me to put like a penny in my belly button, like weird shit, y'all. I'll go into depth and tell you guys some stories. If you guys want to know this whole series, if you guys are interested in it, let me know in the comments. And I'll tell you guys some stories about fucking Ernie, because I have some stories for days when it comes to fucking Ernie. But yeah, I hardly ever had to dance. Like, they all wanted me to do like some weird shit. Like, anyways. Crazy. Anyways, that man spent $1,000 on me that night. And I was like, holy shit. Plus, if you've ever been to a strip club, or if you've ever been a stripper, then you know rooms cost a specific amount of money. The club gets part of it and you get the other part. So the rooms at this club were, what were they, $50. They were $50. The club got 10 and you got 40. So any extra money that you made in there was like considered your tip. And you got the $50 was for an hour. And there were very limited rooms. So a lot of times there would be like a list. So you'd have to wait to get into the rooms because they only had 3 rooms at that club. And it was a bigger club. It is a bigger club. It's still here in Knoxville. By the way, if the owner of this club sees this video, I do still love you. You know I do. So it's no shade. You know this is all real tea. Comment in the comment section below and shout out your club. Because I haven't reached out to you for consent, but if you want to shout out your club, go ahead in the comment section below. Shout out your club. Anyways, so I make $1,000 off my very first customer, and I remember calling my best friend at the time and being like, bitch, you are not going to believe, and she was a thicker girl, so I was like, holy shit, you can make all kinds of money. Like, you need to get down here. Like, these motherfuckers love them a big bitch. Like, get down here. And she ended up coming, and she didn't do as good as I did. And I think it's because she was she still is very insecure about her body. And I own I love my body. I'm fine with my body. And that shit just rubs off. Like, if you're comfortable in your skin and you're confident in yourself, men love that shit. Doesn't matter how big, how small you are, men love a confident woman, period. So, second customer was another one of my regulars. full on white beard, long white beard, chubbier white dude. He was like kind of balding at the top, and he had like little strands of gray white hair. Like his hair was like white, and he was just a chubbier guy. He had like this big ass lake house that I actually pass every day going to work. It's so funny. And he was there, and so he wanted a room with me. We went and got a room, and we ended up having to wait a little bit. So I ended up sitting with him for a while, and he wanted to watch me eat. He just wanted to get me food and watch me. And I'm like, fine with me, like I'm gonna eat fucking wait. So he ended up tipping me like $100 and something just while we sat and ate. Then we went and got a room. We get in the room, and he didn't have me do any weird shit. I think he was just genuinely into a heavier set girl. I think I was like his type, which was sometimes, but it was rare. Most of the times I was being fetished on, like they were having me do like fetishy shit, like having me do, out of the box stuff, which was fine with me. I was down with it. Anyway, so we end up going into the room, and he ends up like getting out his billfold and showing me pictures of like his kids and his grandkids, and his wife had recently passed away, and we talked about her, and not long before that my nanny had passed away, so we talked about her. Like we just sat and chat. So left on a good note. I ended up making like $300 in tips off of him that night. So far so good. The third customer, I will be honest, I did not know much about him, so this is where the story gets really fucking crazy. So he used to come into that really tiny shitty bar all the time and sit at the bar, but he would get dates from other girls. Like he did not come to the club to specifically see me like the other two customers. And when I told him that I was going to be going to this other club, he was like, oh, I might not be able to go. Well, I didn't understand what that meant. I would later, but I would later find out that the reason is because he was handsy. So you're not supposed to touch the strippers. You're not supposed to go in there and touch their punani. You're not supposed to touch their titties. Like you can touch their waist, whatever, but in a respectful way. Like you need to ask permission before you put a hand on another person. You know what I'm saying? So he was very bad about touching strippers' punanis. I did not know this. Nobody told me this, nothing. So I sat with him for a little bit, give him a little bit of attention, and I already got creeper vibes. He had, and it's not because he had a wandering eye, like, and I don't mean like he was looking at other people, like he had an eye that, I can't remember what he said was wrong with it, but basically it would like roll around, if that makes sense. Like, how you can look at something and your eyes stay still, he couldn't control his eye. So having a conversation with him for me was kind of difficult, and I was distracted, okay, and I'm pretty sure he could tell that I was distracted by his eye. So he started popping jokes about his eye, and that kind of released a little bit of tension, because to be honest, when I first sat down with this guy, I was getting weird vibes. Like it wasn't like easy breezy and fun like the first two. And he asked to get a room. At this point, he has not tipped me at all, and I'm like, okay, well, if I go in the room, maybe he'll start tipping me. So I go up and I tell the security, we're gonna get a room, whatever. And one of the girls, like, do not go in a room with him. And I was like, why? And at first I thought, and I had customers from another club coming to see, like, showing out for me. So I didn't know if maybe she was just trying to like keep me from getting my bag, and she was just like, jealous or whatever. But once she started to talk, I was like, no, this bitch is like serious. And she was like, this guy's fucking scary. He has no control. He will touch you. He does not care if you say no, blah, blah. And so she started to tell me. So I told the bouncer, and so I told the bouncer, I said, please keep an eye, because, she just told me that this guy's like super handsy, and like, don't worry. If he even tries something, I'll come in there and I'll throw that motherfucker out. So all of the fucking security and shit is like handling that situation, and nobody's watching the fucking cameras for maybe 2 minutes. Literally what happened with me and this guy in this room happened the minute we walked in the room and shut the door. I started to play some music, and he off the bat was weird. He was weird. He was like, come and sit next to me, and I went over and sat next to him, and he already starts touching me, and I'm like, look, we're not doing this. I will literally drag your ass out of here myself. Like, he kept touching me, kept trying to touch me, kept trying to touch me, kept trying to touch me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to drop kick this motherfucker, because he's honestly, he's not fucking listening to me. He's doing it anyway. He just is continuing to do this, blah, blah, blah. Again, nobody is fucking watching the fucking cameras. Like I said, all this happens in literally like 2 fucking minutes. And this guy fucking reaches down and touches my fucking punani. And I fucking lost it, bitch. I fucking lost it. I start going the fuck off. I'm like, you're disgusting. You're fucking gross. No wonder nobody wants you at their fucking club. You're disgusting, blah, blah, blah. And I run out of the room. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why? And once I walk out, I see that there's a fight that's broken out, and it's, you know, they're getting that settled. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, that motherfucker touched my fucking pussy. And so the owner was like fucking over it. He was like, oh, hell fucking no. He goes in there, drags him up, kicks him out, and he was banned from the club thereafter. I ended up getting no tips from that man, and he fucking touched my tummy. And I think after that, I had like a stage set that I made like $70 something off of. But that first night, the pros outweighed the cons, and I got really excited. But this story is just to like say, like, I know there's a lot of YouTubers who do day in the lives of a stripper, and they count all this money, and you know, you're like, damn, like, that's crazy. Yes, there are pros with stripping, but there are a lot of cons, and I don't think enough of the cons are being shared, but they need to be, because things can get really, 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 really fucking scary in the strip club, because it's like this fantasy, like. And also, there needs to be more thicker strippers on YouTube. Like, where are they? Because I know they exist. I worked with some, like, I know they exist. So yeah, I also have a couple of photos from that era that I'm going to share in some videos. So yeah, if you want to hear some more stories about the strip club and how it was for me as a plus size girl, again, this was like 2013 to 2016. Let me know down in the comment section below. But anyways, love you guys. Bye.